Hi everyone, I'm Suze.
And I'm Robert.
It's great that you're joining us today in a digital international pre-OA.
Today we would like to inform you about the OA
And also give you some practical information about what comes your way when you start studying in Delft.
First, we'll discuss what you can expect from the OA and we'll show you the global planning for the week. After this, someone from the executive board of the TU Delft will tell you what it's like to study in Delft. We'll have a short word from the police who will tell you some practical matters. And an international student will tell you about his experience with moving to the Netherlands. Lastly, we'll go into student mental well-being.
So first of all, what is the OA? The OA is short for Ontvangstweek in Dutch. In English, opening week. During this week, you will get to know the campus, the city of Delft, your fellow students and all the associations that Delft has to offer.
If you attend the OA, you will be assigned to a group with 9 other first-year students from the same faculty as you. This allows you to make 9 friends right from the start. Also, your group will get 2 mentors, which will be your guides during the week. To show you what the OA will look like, we'll now show you some footage from last year's OA.
Hartelijk welkom op de TU Delft campus.
That's how you feel. Bring that body close to me. Time to make it real. Can't keep this a fantasy. If that's how you feel, if that's how you feel. Bring that body close to me. It's time to make it real. Can't keep this a fantasy.
It's all about house music. It's all about love. It's all about house music. It's all about love. It's all about house music. It's all about love. It's all about house music. It's all about love.
As you could see in the video, there will be loads of activities you can participate in. Here you can have a quick overview of all these activities. Check out the link in the bio if you want to take another look.
Now I would like to introduce you to someone from the executive board of the TU Delft to welcome you to the university.
Dear student, I remember well my OA in Delft, the buildings, the student associations, the fellow students, the vibrant atmosphere filled with expectations. You are also starting a new phase of your life, a new city, new classmates, a totally different culture. You are starting as a young student and will hopefully grow to an independent engineer in the coming years. The introduction period is an important part of discovering the city, the university with its faculties and your fellow students. To ease your transition, I have 3 tips for you. 1. Social contact and activities during this new phase of your life are very important. join a student association, a sports club, or participate in one of the many activities the university organizes. This way, you will meet new people and build friendship, probably for life. Second, it is not surprising that you will encounter challenges during this new phase. You are at a university. Ask your study advisor for help when needed. And then third, my last tip is to participate in the various introduction activities. Here you will meet people and discover the city where you will be studying. I wish you a fruitful and enjoying introduction period and a good start of your studies.
So now that you know what to expect from the OW, let's discuss what you need to take care of before coming to Delft. For this, we invited an international student who's already studying here in Delft.
Hi everybody, my name is Matt, and today I'd like to tell you about all the things that came my way when I started my studies in Delft. The first thing I had to consider when applying to study in the Netherlands was a residence permit, and if needed, an entry permit or visa. Luckily, the university applies for all of these on your behalf, and this is something that you can't even do yourself. The type of visa that you need can vary depending on where you're from, but all these details are worked out during the application process. Housing, however, you do have to arrange yourself. The first thing you should know is that finding a place to live in Delft can be quite challenging, so you need to start looking as soon as possible. My recommendation would be to start looking before July, because this is when students might be graduating and housing might become available. Finding somewhere to live in the Netherlands is very important because you're required to register a Dutch address at the municipality in order to meet the requirements of some residence permits and to do things like open a Dutch bank account. Luckily, there are some organizations that are here to help. First, the TU offers housing to first-year international students on a first paid, first served basis. You can find more information about this on their website. But the TU doesn't guarantee that housing will be available depending on when you pay your tuition. With that said, the TU also has a list of external housing providers on their website. One popular option is room.nl. However, my biggest tip is to join Facebook groups dedicated to finding housing, such as Zoekkamer in Delft, Kamer in Delft, and Zoekkamer in Delft Community. Just be careful because there can sometimes be scammers on these websites. So if something seems too good to be true, then it's probably fake. After you found a place to live, you have to register your address with the municipality. This is important because after your appointment, you'll receive your Dutch Citizen Service Number, or your BSN. This number is important for other services in the Netherlands, like getting a bank account. If you already have a bank account with an IBAN number and it's registered in an SEPA country, then you can keep that bank account. With that said, it's still smart to have a Dutch account because your existing bank may charge you extra costs and some services in the Netherlands are only accessible with Dutch bank accounts. With your BSN and proof of enrollment at TU Delft, you can get a free bank account at a lot of Dutch banks. The next thing you need to do is get health insurance. The regulations on healthcare can be pretty confusing. However, the TU Delft has a website that explains everything you need to know. If you're not from the EU, pay attention to the IND requirements on the site. Otherwise, you may not be able to get your residence permit once you get to the Netherlands. In terms of medical care, everyone in the Netherlands is registered with a general practitioner, or a GP. The general practitioner is the first point of contact when you have a physical or mental problem. Be aware that you are personally required to find and register with a general practitioner. And this general practitioner must be located in the same municipality as the address that you are registered at in the Netherlands. If you aren't able to register with a general practitioner, then you can go to the Student Healthcare Center, also known as the SGZ. They can not only provide medical care, but also help finding a general practitioner. As for the dentist, the same requirements hold. There are multiple dentists in Delft that you can Google and choose one to register with once you get here. When you move to a new city, the first days can be a bit lonely. Luckily, there's an app that is facilitated by TU Delft called Going. In this app, associations and communities can communicate their activities, and it's a really good way to find your place here in Delft. Another great option is X, where you can participate in sports or other activities and meet new friends. Also, I thought I'd include some fun facts about the Netherlands and Dutch people. First, the Netherlands is a super flat country, which was pretty eye-opening for myself coming from Canada. As a result, it can be really, really windy here, which causes the weather to change in the blink of an eye. There's a funny saying, actually, that goes something like, if you don't like the weather, wait for 10 minutes. As for Dutch people, they can tend to be quite direct, but are also very easy to get along with and are happy to show their culture. So don't hesitate to get to know your Dutch classmates once you arrive. For an overview of all the information I just gave you, you can check out the links in the bio. Best of luck on your journey to TU.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Now Hans from the police will tell you a few legal things you might want to know.
Hello, I'm Hans, neighborhood agent around the TU Delft. I've been asked to draw your attention to some particular points of interest for international students. For example, if you are in distress or need acute help, you should call the police emergency number, being 112. This is a free phone number. If you want to contact the police and there is no urgency or emergency, you can call 0900 8844. This is a so-called service number and your provider charges you for it. These charges vary from provider to provider. I would also like to remind you that when you go cycling in the Netherlands, you cycle on the right side of the road. And if there is a cycle path, you should use it. As a driver of a bicycle, it's not allowed to have a phone in your hand while cycling. And when it is dark outside, you must have lights on your bike. White at the front and red at the back. These may also be separate lights that you can attach to your bicycle. One more thing I'd like to address is that it's not allowed to be in the city center of Delft with an open container of alcoholic beverages, with exception of the terraces. Thank you for your attention.
We understand that coming to Delft can also be very scary. You're far from home, in a new country, with no friends yet. You do not know exactly where to go with your questions about your studies or other personal matters. Fortunately, the TU Delft places a high value on student well-being. Therefore, the TU Delft has a number of supports available to you in these circumstances.
If you're struggling with your studies or have any questions about it, the academic counselor at your faculty is the first one to go to. Also, there are career counselors that can support you in your career choices and help prepare you for the job market.
If you're struggling with your mental well-being, it's completely okay to ask for help. The TU Delft has a team of psychologists for students who are specially educated and willing to help you. There are many more people who are willing to listen to you, so don't be afraid to ask help. You can take a look at this website for further information. You can also find more information on this chart about all the resources of the TU Delft.
This brings us to the end of the Digital International Pre-OA. Before you go, I would like to inform you about the OA app, which will be, besides your mentors, your guides during the OA.
And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And don't forget to sign up for the OA through our website. We hope you enjoyed today and we will see you during the OA this summer.
Tot ziens!